Hey, Lito Lolo coming back down to earth here, and technology is rotting our brains. We have gotten to a pivotal point where there is so much content that we consume on a daily basis that it is basically declining our mental capabilities. I think one of the main reasons people are experiencing so much ADHD these days, as we can see in this graph, how it has increased dramatically from 2007 to 2016, is because of the internet. And all of us have our different forms of poison, some of us scroll endlessly on TikTok, while others mindlessly wander through hours of YouTube essays about a very niche Legend of Zelda speedrun. We all have our vices, but nonetheless, just like choosing crack over heroin, it's still drugs. And there are detrimental effects in the long term that we still haven't seen yet because technology has never been as efficient as it is today. Right? If we could remember 14 years ago in the early 2010s, people were still scrolling through their Blackberries or flipping up their Sidekick mobiles. The only way you were able to access the internet away from your computer at the time was through Wi-Fi, which was once again very rare and scarce. And even when you did find Wi-Fi, the internet wasn't even that functional where it was even worth it to do so. So for the most part, people were just kind of living their lives normally, right? They socialized. Fast forward to now, it seems like everywhere we go has Wi-Fi and is able to fuel that internet addiction that we all seem to have succumbed to, because it seems like everybody has a phone that can run these apps like TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, etc. Right? We're all walking zombies who can't seem to get enough of this interaction that social media brings us, whether it be the social gratification from Facebook likes or Reddit upvotes or Instagram hearts. Whatever it may be, people here in America at least have their phones attached to their hip like Batman and Robin, like Snoop Dogg and weed, like Wiz Khalifa and weed, like Christian rock and alcohol. People these days can't even go to a concert without recording literally the entire set like they're freaking Quentin Tarantino. Everything people do is being documented and is being added to their digital footprint. The internet's expansion is so massive that it's basically a world of its own now. Each side of the internet have their own different social environments like separate countries. They have their own separate humor. I mean, if we take a look, for example, at TikTok comments versus Instagram comments, we can see that one side is trying to hit those witty one-liners while the other side is trying to roast you into oblivion. X, which was once known as Twitter, has turned into a cesspool of dog shit. It's like Europeans during the medieval times when they didn't shower, where all the people are always trying to be politically correct, and in every corner people are either criticizing somebody or trying to cancel somebody. It's crazy. TikTok is filled with Zoomers, while Facebook is basically a retirement home. It's a complex, complicated mess, and we're all jugglers trying to juggle all of these at once, thus causing our brains to fry like a sweet dessert at a rodeo in Texas. Hell, it's gotten so bad for me that I can't even come up with the cohesive sentence during normal conversation anymore. I feel like I've been losing my marbles like that one dude in Squid Games. I don't even know how to spell anymore, and for somebody who was an English major, that is embarrassing. I think this is a technological epidemic that we have all experienced. I think it'll just get worse for us from here, especially for future generations, because at least millennials were able to experience half of the lies from this torpedo of overprocessed information. But with Gen Z or Alpha, they literally were born into this. I mean, if we recall, babies were able to use iPads straight out the fucking womb, right? We might be doomed. It's either we're doomed or they're going to be the future of humanity to take us out of this floating rock. We will see. Nonetheless, right now, it is a current problem. So with that said, I will talk about 3 brain rotting applications that I have personally felt were unhealthy for my brain. And first, we're going to start off with the cesspool of dog shit that is Twitter. I mean, X. whatever the fuck you want to call it now. Now this place has spiraled into madness and has turned into a shit show. It's like the Gotham City of the internet universe. It's disgusting. And I'm pretty sure anybody who has X can share a similar experience to me, where your For You page is basically comprised of like 10 accounts that were able to farm impressions based off of drama, unreliable and misread information, entertainment news, recycled memes, advertisements for OnlyFans accounts, and outright inappropriate deviancies like somebody getting shot or a girl getting smashed like Ed Norton in Incredible Hulk 2008. And since Elon Musk has decided to monetize impressions on Twitter, a lot of these big accounts literally copy other hit tweets for verbatim. It's like when you used to copy somebody's essay and you try to rewrite it in your own words, but it's still obviously copied. The reason a lot of these big accounts do this is because there is no negative repercussions for their actions, one, and also they're still able to farm impressions and push themselves into the algorithm, thus making them more money. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's their fault entirely. They just kind of adapted to their new social media environment. This is obviously, as we know, goes back to Elon Musk. Right, and I made several videos about him in the past, about my distaste about several of his executive decisions that he has made on a website that I personally once loved. A lot of his decisions are tied back to the fact that he has been losing a lot of money since he has purchased the website in late 2022. As we could see here, he has lost over 50% of advertisement revenue since he has been the owner, which is embarrassing to say the least. You would have assumed that a person who dropped out of high school and had no previous business experience whatsoever randomly win the lottery and decided to purchase the website, make the decisions that he is currently doing right now. And to top this off, the overall atmosphere for X is just negative. The population, I've noticed, has been constantly bringing other people down through their tweets. People always try to ego check each other in the comments. It's like right now, X is currently the breeding ground for arguments and rhetoric debates. Because for the most part, it's pointless, right? There is no reason to debate somebody when they're not going to change their perspective on anything. If anything, it's only going to reinforce their already cemented beliefs. It's just a mess, man. People have been promoting their tweets under other people's posts. OnlyFans bot accounts have been liking everybody's tweets. Big accounts are promoting OnlyFans accounts like advertisements for some reason. It's just a fucking mess. Now, I am sure everybody has heard of TikTok brain. It is a commonly used phrase that we all know that has been heavily associated with people with low attention spans, where they can no longer focus on long-form communication or information. The main reason for that being the case is because TikTok's short-form content makes it easier to consume different types of videos in a span of 10 minutes. In comparison to one YouTube video, you could watch about 25 different TikToks before even hitting the 10-minute mark, which in the grand scheme of things, if you really think about it, is extremely unhealthy for the brain. Because imagine your brain as a filing cabinet, right? If you watch short form TikToks, each of them elaborating on a different subject or topic in the span of 10 minutes, then you're not giving your mind enough time to process any of that information that you just consumed. Now you got all these extra files with no additional storage space, and you're kind of just leaving these stacked of papers lingering all around your fucking rooms in your brain, and now it's gonna be like hoarders in there, bitch. And to top this off, they sprinkled crack cocaine on top of the algorithm, because I haven't been this hooked since 50 Cent dropped his hit song In the Club back in 03. Oh shorty, it's your birthday, we're gonna party like it's your birthday. If this was some demented and twisted diabolical plan for the Chinese government to rot the brains of people here in America, well then let me tell you, buddy, mission success. Each video is catered to you, right? It's like they know you. Hell, they probably know you more than your significant other knows you, which gets you addicted. And now you're scrolling mindlessly for the next few hours, zombified, while your brain slowly turns into mashed potatoes. I don't know, but I feel like TikTok should be used in moderation. If not, there is going to be long-term detrimental effects. It's similar to when people used to think that smoking was cool until they found out that it gave you cancer. Anyways, Twitch or other live streaming sites is nearly synonymous with brain rot. You know, watching XUC play GTRP for 12 hours out the day and reacting to TikTok compilations at 3 a.m. isn't really the avant-garde day of hobbies to pursue in your free time. And I have to be honest, I got my hands up. I fell victim to this too. You know, since the GTA RP meta, I've watched one of my favorite streamers get so immersed into their roleplay where they are literally having a virtual romance with another RPer. From a third-party perspective, that sounds crazy. Hey, what do you like to do? Oh, I just watch a streamer roleplay in a game about a life that doesn't exist. You know, like, doesn't that shit sounds insane? Imagine traveling back to the 1800s and telling that to Abraham Lincoln. They would have turned my Mexican ass into an indentured servant so fucking fast. Like, every streamer has confirmed that Twitch has literally John Wayne Gacy'd their brain and they are now 2% dumber. Now, why is this? I believe it could be a collection of things, but I think it all ties back into the Twitch culture that basically revolves around Twitch degeneracy, where it is heavily normalized for streamers to be like these big fucking adult children who don't know basic living necessities like cooking or cleaning. I mean, hell, XUC was reusing a towel for such a long period of time that it got mold on it. You know how long a towel has to be in a wet environment without it being properly cleansed for it to develop a fungal species on it? A long time. On top of that, one of the best components that make Twitch an effective website even to this day is its chat interaction, which is heavily embedded in the culture that is Twitch. It's what makes the live streaming site so vibrant and colorful. Without it, they would be nothing. Where basically people are just spamming emotes, witty one-liners, and it's usually just a hive mind where people who are lonely can feel a sense of connection with other chatters. But at the end of the day, it's constantly moving and you're always relocating from one thought to the next in a matter of seconds. You're just spamming messages for hours about nothing really. It's like a never-ending cesspool of unimportant information just being regurgitated down your mind's asshole, right? And the connection you feel is more like a placebo effect than a genuine bond. The entire environment can be chalked up to LSF, where a lot of people are very critical to streamers. There's a lot of weird parasocial relationships that exist within this field. And the simps, well, the simps are always going to be the simps. It's damaging to the mind. You know, there's no room for improvement or growth. Although it could be a place where you feel a sense of community, it's not like you're adding any depth to social aspects of your life IRL, right? You just kind of remain comfortable and stagnant and consume yourself in this degenerate lifestyle. I think a lot of Twitch streamers have become victim to this as well. I mean, if we look at FanFan and Extra Emily, both of these individuals graduating from high colleges, but yet have decided to immerse themselves in the lives of degeneracy, which I will go into detail later in another video that I will call the degeneracy of Twitch. But for now, I will leave it at that. Now, these are obviously not the only social media websites that can taint your mind from coherency. And I'm also not saying you should completely separate yourself from technology, throw your phone in the river, and live a life of a nomad. I'm not saying that at all, but this video could be a reminder, you know, to step away from your phone for the day, meditate, you know, recharge your batteries, read that book that you've been wanting to read, you know, maybe sit in silence for an hour and ruminate on your thoughts. Take a deep breath and just take a break, you know, to realize how minuscule everything truly is and how we are an anomaly in this space-time existence. Anyways, that's all for me. I'm off to another dimension. See ya.